Hello, today is our last episode from the Book of Hopes, and I'm really excited because I'm going to get the chance to read to you today. You will all know this book called The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Well, I'm going to read you an information text about the hungriest caterpillar. If hope were an animal, would it be a unicorn cantering through sunlit clouds, or a hippo that burps rainbows? Or could it be a creature that most people barely notice? A small, plain caterpillar crawling on 6 stubby legs. Our unlikely hero is the caterpillar of the wax moth, an insect with a very bad reputation. Wax moths like to lay their eggs in honeybee hives. When the creamy white caterpillars hatch, they tunnel deep into the honeycomb, chomping their way through beeswax, pollen and honey, and generally causing chaos. Scientists who study wax moths are usually looking for ways to stop them in their tracks. But one day, someone spotted that these caterpillars have a superpower. Frederica Bertoncini was cleaning out her beehives when she found a few wax moth caterpillars. Knowing their bees' #1 enemy, she popped them into a plastic bag while she finished the job. But she returned to find the bag full of holes. The caterpillars had eaten their way through the plastic and were making a slow getaway. Some people would have found them a tougher prison and forgotten all about it. But Frederica is a scientist and she was curious. She knew that plastic bags are made from polyethylene, a type of plastic so incredibly tough that blazing sunshine, biting wind, churning water and ravenous microbes take at least 100 years to break it down. This indestructibility is why most of the plastic humans have thrown away is still piled in landfills, clogging up rivers and floating in oceans. How on earth had 3 small caterpillars destroyed a patch of plastic in just a few hours? Working with a team of colleagues, Frederica began to investigate. They discovered something astonishing. The caterpillars weren't just chewing plastic bags into tiny pieces and pooping them out. They were actually digesting the plastic and using it as food. The next step was to find out how. The world has herbivores, carnivores and omnivores, but no one had ever met a plastivore before. 3 years after Frederica's discovery, another team of scientists found the second piece of the puzzle. Wax moth caterpillars have friendly microbes living in their stomachs. They usually help the caterpillars to digest beeswax, nature's version of plastic. But if their hungry host decides to eat human-made plastic, they're happy to switch. Together, caterpillars and microbes are an unbeatable team. It would take 60 wax moth caterpillars a week to munch their way through a piece of plastic as big as your palm. They won't be able to solve the world's plastic problem on their own, but they give us hope that we can find solutions. If we can understand the wax moth caterpillar's plastic pulverizing powers, we might be able to copy them and find a way to break plastic up into particles that can be returned safely to nature. The Hungriest Caterpillar is one story in a vast library that we're only just beginning to read. There is more hope hidden in nature's books and pages waiting to be found. You can join the search. Next time you see something unexpected, pause, look closely, and let your curiosity show you which way to go. Next up is Mrs. Matheson, one of our governors, reading That Peeling Feeling, written by Jack Knoll.
That peeling feeling. My granddad told me about an artist called Joseph Beuys. Joseph Beuys said, every activity, even peeling a potato, can be a work of art. That was in the 1960s, before the internet and oven chips, So they had a lot more time for things like peeling potatoes. But even so, I think I know what he means. I like peeling things too. I like peeling candle wax from the kitchen table, PVA glue from my fingers, potatoes when I'm helping Mum, and satsumas. I love peeling satsumas. Most days, there is a point in the middle of the afternoon when Mum is off checking on my grandparents and my brother is off in the other direction, shouting over the garden fence, and I am alone. I like to go to the kitchen table and sit there between things. I'm not starving, but I am peckish. I'm not tired, but I am quiet. I'm not bored, but I'm bored enough to eat fruit on purpose. Sunlight pushes through the open window, making the dust dance. I take a satsuma from the fruit bowl and hold it up. Birds sing. I look at the bumps and bulges, the pits and craters, an orange planet. I start by biting, sink my teeth into the skin, just to get it going. I get a sneak peek of the taste to come, like when you'd watch a trailer before you go to a movie. That first opening is a secret door to another world, like that cupboard that goes to Narnia. I work a fingertip into the opening. To keep the peel one piece, you have to kind of wriggle your hand as you pull. Micro moves. Up, down, back and forth. It's as neat and as natural as a turtle moving its flippers. A turtle on Blue Planet, gliding through the shallows. The camera below, the sun shimmering above like a radioactive satsuma. Sometimes I do this while I'm FaceTiming friends, or watching the news or whatever, and I don't even think about it. But sometimes, when there's nothing else, I watch my own hands at work and see the orange skin fly free, and it's kind of cool to notice. The fruit shedding its skin like Mum shrugging off her big blue coat after a long shift. The peel twists and turns over and over like a Blue Planet turtle showing its pale underbelly. I pluck satsuma segments like petals, one by one. Before I eat them, I watch them one by one. Exposed, the sunlight makes their insides glow. They are full of light and zest and pulp and pips. I eat them one by one. It's just a satsuma. It's just a satsuma, and I'm just a kid. Just a kid eating a satsuma in the middle of everything.
Finally, to conclude our lovely series of stories is Miss Andrews, who will be reading The Best Feeling Ever by Fleur Hitchcock.
The best feeling ever. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm sitting on my bed with my eyes closed, trying to send telepathic messages to my mum. I'm really hoping that my present will be a pony. I have dropped all the hints. Galloped over broom handles, made a cardboard saddle and hung it over the banisters. I whinny, I paw the ground. I even say yum when I eat raw carrots. I've been very consistent with this. I've done it for 2 years. Last birthday, I was given a plastic telescope and a sweater. I managed to hide my disappointment, but this time, maybe I'm going to be lucky. I scrunch my eyes tight and try to visualize the pony. It can be any real pony colour. I don't honestly care. Holding my breath, I try to send a pony picture from my head to Mum's. Thing is, we've moved house and there's a field at the back of our garden. It's not our field, but it has grass and a shed. Sometimes it's lived in by an old sheep, but the sheep has disappeared. The field has been empty for a whole week. Maybe it's waiting for a pony too. I pull the duvet up around my shoulders and think of horse names until I fall asleep dreaming of wild gallops over the countryside. In the morning, I wake up before Mum and sit at the top of the stairs, waiting. She must hear me because she comes out of her room and gives me a wink. Is that a pony wink, I wonder? I've a surprise for you, she says. It's outside. I almost explode. I was right. She got the hint. It's going to be a pony. She's at the door, smiling. Ready? She asks, opening the door. For a moment, I stand, the smile jammed on my face as I stare at a red bicycle, which is not and was never at any point in its life a pony. Wonderful, I say. A bike. How brilliant. And I hold the smile on my face and keep the tears out of my eyes. Darling, says Mum, hugging me. I knew you'd love it. Have a ride after breakfast. I eat cereal, stirring it round and round, blinking back the tears. And then I go out and sit on my new red bicycle. I roll it back and forth along the fence. And because it glides so smoothly, I let it freewheel down the slope to the road. We pick up speed and the bike slicks along the tarmac. I notice that I can see over the hedges, that the wind is catching in my hair. My steed turns downhill again, and in a second we're galloping over the ground, shooting past potholes, whizzing under branches. Happiness fizzes through my chest, and I pedal as fast as I can until I can't breathe anymore. Yes! I shout. Yes! Yes! This is the best feeling ever.
I hope that you've really enjoyed all these stories and poems and readings. We've really enjoyed being able to read them to you. You can read more of the Book of Hopes yourself, as there are lots more stories that we haven't done. I look forward to seeing you soon.